I've actually just found a Marshall Hanson that I actually like. Let's dig in. So time for the big reveal. That was the ML Sound Labs GNR plugin, and I love it. But before we go any further, please can you like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff so that I can grow this channel. Now first of all, this is not a sponsored video. I bought this plugin with my own money. But again, if you do the like subscribe thing, then maybe people will send me stuff to try out for free. That would be awesome. So this isn't going to be an in-depth plugin review. I'm just going to talk about it a little bit. I'm not going to kind of show you stuff. I think you all know your way around plugins these days. But I came across ML Sound Labs a few years ago when they were giving their first plugin away for free. It was a model of a 5150. I grabbed it and I actually really liked it. I thought it sounded really good. So fast forward a few years later and there is a Black Friday sale on this plugin and I decided to grab it. And like a lot of people, it sat in my plugin folder and I didn't really pay much attention to it. Recently I started using it just for some practice stuff and I've got to be honest, I was really quite impressed. So what is the plugin all about? Well, obviously it's a kind of recreation of that Guns N' Roses sound, and if you don't know, I'm a huge Slash fan. And it's basically modelling two amps, a Silver Jubilee and a Marshall Signature that he had out in the 90s. So that Marshall Signature amp is what you were hearing on the demo there. The history of that amp is pretty simple. In 1996 they released it. It was, I believe, their first ever signature amp from Marshall, and it was based on his Silver Jubilee amp that he owned for a long time. Now those amps were limited to, I think it was like 3,000 units, so they're pretty rare, and I've got to be honest, I've always wanted one. I've actually only ever seen one in the flesh, which is in a studio in Wales, and unfortunately I wasn't able to play it, but I've lost it after that for a long time. There's not really much to tell about the amp itself. It is just a kind of recreation of his favourite amp, and this plugin does, in my opinion, a pretty good job. I don't know if it actually sounds anything like the real amp itself because I've never played it or heard it in the flesh, but I'm honestly really into this. So all the guitars that you heard in that demo were done through that plugin. And the signal flow is pretty simple. It's just my guitar going straight into the interface and then into the plugin. The only difference is I'm using my own IR, which is a Bogner 4x12, and I use that IR all the time if I'm using Sims. Now the track that you heard was actually from my own band, Silver Dollar Room, and I recorded that with Mesa Boogie in a really expensive studio. And I've got to be honest, I really like the sound of that plugin. It sits so well. The plugin itself, it looks exactly like the amp. There's also a pedal board where you can put reverb, delay, chorus, compression, and some kind of tube screamer circuit. For the solo, I was using the tube screamer circuit, but on the rhythm guitars, they were actually recorded with an actual tube screamer in front of it as well. So you can kind of hear how it sounds with a real pedal in front of it too. So I would go and check this plugin out if you're really looking for that Marshall tone. Let me know in the comments what you thought of it. Again, I'm really digging it and I'm going to be using it for a few things for sure. And of course, if there's anything that you want me to check out, if I can do it, I absolutely will. Leave a comment below and I'll see you next time. Cheers.